Hey, you guys, welcome back to Heal, Survive, and Thrive. I am excited you're here. We're going to talk about standards today and having really high standards. What does it mean? What does it look like? Because when we come out of these relationships, I think one of the first things that we start to unwrap. Oh, look at that. The sun just completely went away. We're in the thick of winter right now. Okay. I know it's February and we're out of like dry January here where that month just lasts forever. It's the longest month in the world, but I'm sorry, here in New England, February is just basically another January. It's not until we really get to March that we start to see a little difference here. So I apologize if the lighting starts to go a little in and out if you're watching me on YouTube. But anyways, to me, standards are the first thing that we start to dissect when we come out of these relationships, because you kind of stop and ask yourself, like, was the bar really even high in that relationship? Was I really even expecting anything from this person? Was the bar crazy low? Why was the bar crazy low? Did it have anything to do with my self-respect, self-worth, healing, wounds, all of that stuff, all that trauma that maybe I've been through, and I kind of carried it into my dating world, into my dating life. And then here we go. I invite this person into my life and I allow this person to stay in my life, which that's right there is boundaries. So, but if you don't know your standards, or you feel like I just don't really have high ones, I don't really expect a lot from people, I've kind of always just been going with the flow and I take whatever life kind of gives me and then I conform to that person, rather than me going into life and saying, this is who I am, this is what I want. And if you can't provide that, that's totally fine, but I know that someone else actually can. And this is really the case for all areas of your life. We're talking about your career, your friendships, your happiness, your overall health, your romantic life, like everything. When you talk about standards, you're talking about what you want for your life, first and foremost, and how afraid are you that maybe you may not get those things. So now we're unraveling everything. We're unraveling our fears, our insecurities, as well as our traumas. So when we're going through these relationships and we come out and we're kind of going through this like a little awakening stage of this recovery that you're in right now, you start to dissect not only this other person. I think that's probably the first step. We tend to go into all the narcissism videos, all the what's going on with this person, why did they do what they did, who was this person that I was actually in a relationship with. And then once you start to make sense of that, hopefully you also start to look at your own self and say, okay, regardless of that person, there's obviously some core things about myself that I probably need to change if I have a high level of self-reflection. Some people don't. They just blame the other person for the rest of their lives and nothing ever changes because they don't actually want to look at themselves, because in order to look at themselves means that they have to actually change some things or they have to acknowledge some things. And a lot of people don't want to do that because they like being a victim. You very well may have been a victim in that relationship, but staying in victimhood is a completely different thing. So you were a victim, but you're not a victim, right? So standards, let's talk about it. And I have some notes because I don't want to sway away too much from this, because I want you to very much understand what it's going to take for you to have high standards. First off, you have to look at your core values. Your core values is really what you expect out of life, what you expect out of this relationship. What do you expect out of yourself? And I think that's probably the first question that we ask ourselves is, what are the qualities of a person that I actually want to be? Who is the type of person that I really want to be? I had a coach years ago that didn't exercise with me, and she said, close your eyes and I want you to envision yourself in 20 years. And don't tell me about your life, but I want to know about you. Like, who are you? How do you carry yourself? What are like the feelings that if you're in this body right now, in this Stephanie in 20 years, who is she? How does she live? How does she feel? And the first thing that came to my mind was she's calm. She's calm and she's confident. There's like an ease to her. And I think I've always kind of strived to be that. Now, the standards in your life, in other areas of your life, whether it's like your career, your romantic relationships, all of those things, if you could envision every area of your life to be perfect, what would that look like? So when we talk about relationships, what in your mind with what you know right now, or maybe even what you've seen on social or TV or whatever, movies, in your mind, what is the ideal healthy relationship? What does it look like? And when you're watching these movies or whatever, what are the feelings that you can tell that the character has because they're in this relationship? So starting to even be able to label, what are the traits? What are the core things in my job, in my friendships, in my romantic relationships? What are those core feelings that you want to feel if you had everything that you want right now? What does that really look like? What matters to you the most in your relationships with other people? What do you consider, the top 5 things that you absolutely really need? And I think as time goes on in your life and you've been through crappy experiences, you can start to unravel those situations and say, okay, I've been through that experience, and what I learned was I really need this, and I didn't think I needed that before. That's the beauty of life and being wiser as you get older, is you've been through enough where you can really say to yourself, this is who I am at this stage in my life, and this is what I need out of a friend, out of a partner, out of a career, all of those things. And that kind of clarity starts to shape who you really are, and it starts to shape your values and what it is that you want for your life and the decisions that you're going to make now in order to get there. And it helps to just reinforce those standards every single day. So when you look at all areas of your life, or the 7 areas of our lives, right? Whether it's romantic life and career and finances and social life and et cetera, et cetera. So what areas of your life right now need the most work? You may very well want to be in a relationship, but maybe finding a really great place to live or having some more friends in your life and having more of a good social calendar or a more exciting life, that's actually the priority. So where are you at right now? Where all these areas of your life, which one's at the top, which one's at the bottom? So the top 3 that are at the top that you're like, I really want to work on these things. Let's work on them. Let's figure out what are the core things that you want in these areas of your life. What should they look like? How should it feel? If I could just snap my fingers right now and give you everything that you want, do this exercise with me. Take a piece of paper out, get your phone out, wherever, get in the notepads and start writing this stuff down so you can understand who you are and what you need, or where you want to be, what you want it to look like. And then you can start to break down, what are the things that I need to do every day to get myself there? And you can set a really high bar for yourself. Anyone can do that. Once you set the bar, the work is keeping the bar there until you get what you want. That's the hard part, because we can put the bar really, really high. And when we start to see that we're not getting what it is that we want, do we start to bring that bar down because now we're riddled with a lot of fear, or maybe a little insecurity or self-doubt in ourselves that maybe we're not equipped to be able to get that, or maybe it won't happen for us. Maybe it happened for, Susie, but it's not going to happen for me. So that's really where the work comes in. So it's not even just like, all right, let's figure out where to put the bar. Look, it's step 1, but step 1 is really easy. It's going to be doing those things every day, which is i.e. self-parenting, in order for you to be consistent to get to that place. Defining your non-negotiables in every area of your life and understanding what are the things that I'm absolutely not willing to put up with. Do you need, and when you break down these areas of your life and you think about what are the non-negotiables, if you're talking about your career, maybe the non-negotiable is I am not making less than X amount of dollars. I will absolutely not, commute more than 30 minutes to work, whatever. That's an example. In your career, maybe you want more work-life balance. So you want to be able to work for a company that's not going to expect you to be, working overtime with no, overtime pay, or those kind of things. Relationships. What are the key things that I am never going to put up with ever again? Is it dishonesty? Is it a lack of trust? Is it emotional availability? Someone who you can absolutely be real with, because maybe the partners that you've had in the past, you can never actually have emotional intimacy with because they were emotionally unavailable. Like, they don't want to let people in. Hell, they don't even know what they feel themselves, let alone being able to be open and honest with you. So what are your non-negotiables, and really defining those things? I think not settling for less. And when we're talking about the bar and bringing the bar down, what really, really triggers us to want to bring that bar down? And it's fear. One of the most amazing things that I've realized so far in this life journey is that if you stop, if you quit, you never get what you want. Now, to get what you want isn't a straight road, and sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it takes a long time. So as long as you're not fearful of when, meaning when is this going to happen? I want it to happen right now. You can want it to happen right now, but if it doesn't happen right now, are you still going to be okay? And are you still going to do the things that you need to do in order to keep plugging away, or are you going to fold? The only people that get what they want are the people that don't fold. It's very, very simple. So if you're going to be a person that wants something and you want it bad enough, you're not going to fold. If you also understand how life works and that you will get what you want, and I'm not for a second giving you any fluffy positivity stuff. I'm giving you facts. I'm being very logical with you. You will get what you want if you do not stop. If you decide that this probably just isn't going to happen and you just give up, then yeah, it's not going to happen. Like, it's very simple. 1 + 1 = 2. So the hard part is practicing having enough self-respect, understanding 2 things, practicing that you really understand what it is that I just said, like digest it. It's the words to live by, absorb it. Don't ever let it go. Remind yourself of it every single day when you want to give up, is that you will get what you want. You just can't stop. And, get frustrated, and you can cry, and you can feel all the feelings that are normal to feel being a human in this experience, but you can't stop. That's the key. So if you're working on that piece, reiterating that, okay, I can get what I want, I just can't stop. I know it's hard right now and I'm having an off day and I'm starting to not believe, but I do know in the back of my mind, because I'm repeating it all the time, that if I just don't stop, I'm going to get what I want. You will eventually get what you want. So if you're doing that and you're working on you having a lot of self-respect for yourself, which means that when someone disrespects me, that I know how to handle that level of confrontation, that I practice standing up for myself, that when I give my own self some BS excuse on why I shouldn't do something or why I can't do something, like, you are the only person that knows when you're BSing yourself. That's it. No one, you can lie, you can put on a front, you can make excuses. And most people, maybe some people will know that you're BSing yourself, but I'm not trying to be fresh. Even the people that love and care about you the most, they don't 100% care all the time, because if you're going to put up enough front that you can't do something, then all right, then don't do it. That's exactly what they're going to say. But with you are the only person that knows when you should push yourself and when you shouldn't push yourself. And even when you don't do it right every single time, that's okay too. Being able to forgive yourself for maybe saying, hey, I could have pushed myself a little bit harder and I didn't. And that's okay. I'll do that next time. I'll show up a little better. I'll see things a little clearer, and just doing better next time. That's really all it takes. It just takes you being consistent. So you not allowing people to treat you poorly, you not overextending yourself when you know you shouldn't. And again, this is all self-parenting. This is, someone has to be responsible for you, and it's you. So if someone has to be responsible for you and it's you, then how do you show up? How do you show up as the coach, the therapist, the best friend? Do you hold yourself accountable, or do you let yourself just fold and do whatever it is that you want? I think a lot of the problem that we have is that no one's just really showing up. You're just not showing up for yourself. You're allowing yourself to think these thoughts, to have these feelings, and you just roll with it. You're just so emotional that you're not bothering to use any logic. You're not bothering to start practicing taking more charge in your life and saying, whoa. I'm the manager here. I'm the business owner. I'm the parent, I'm the adult, I am going to start taking charge. And you're not going to be good at this every single day. And that's where family and friends and coaches and, videos and podcasts and other things come into play, that it's like, all right, I'm going to feed my mind today. I'm going to listen to stuff. I feel like I'm going to get out of this funk and I'm going to go do what it is that I need to do. Standards have everything to do with how you feel about yourself. So if you are not parenting yourself, if you are not actually practicing this stuff every single day, life is really, really hard. When you are consciously saying, I'm going to do this every day, and you don't have to do it all day, every day, but throughout the day, yes, you're going to show up for yourself. You're going to recognize when you're BSing yourself. You're going to start having difficult conversations. You're going to stop waiting for everyone to behave, do the right thing, for life to hand you this fabulous job and career that you want, that you understand that I actually have to do some work and I have to make it happen for myself, and understanding how to do that. And I'm telling you, this is how you have to do it. Just being able to communicate clearly with people and be calm and practice that level of confidence in yourself, practicing being who it is that you want to be. That's it. That's it. That's all you have to do. You have to do it every day, but just practicing being able to communicate clearly with people, not reacting to people. When you start to get triggered, knowing how to handle yourself, knowing exactly what it is that you want right now. When I'm on the phone with clients, and I was just on the phone with a woman the other day, and sometimes you need that back and forth conversation with someone so you can gain that clarity to understand who you are at this point in your life and what it is that you really do want. Because I think sometimes the fears that we have and the worries and insecurities, all of those things just take hold over you, and they're so at the forefront that you can't see clearly past them to see what is it that I really want. So this is where if I asked you, hey, what do you want? What would it be? It'd be, I don't know. I don't know what I want. You do know what you want. You just have a lot of cloudy stuff in front of you. And it's called the fear, the self-doubt, the worry, all of those things. So when you start to kind of part ways with that and put it off to the side for a minute, and you can find clarity in who you are and what it is that you want at this stage of your life, then we can start working on how to get there, and where, I don't want to say where your weaknesses are, but where are your quirky things that you struggle with. Is it fear? Is it insecurity? Is it self-doubt? And I got to be honest, it's usually a combination of all those things. You are no different than the other person that's watching this right now, and the other person that's listening to this right now. You both are exactly the same. You just have different stories. You have a different past. You have different experiences, but everyone has the fear, the worry, the self-doubt. So as long as you understand, like, okay, this is the story right now that I'm telling myself that's keeping me stuck. And if you can start to break down that story, and if you can understand what is the one little thing that I have to do today that'll start to give me a little bit of momentum. That's all people need. You just need a little bit of momentum. And I think once you start getting that, and then you start getting what it is that you actually wanted, and you start achieving things, and you realize, oh wow, this actually works. All I have to do is keep the bar really high, and I can't live in fear of what if it doesn't happen. So those are the big things, because you want to be a high value person. And I hate to break it to you, sometimes we're just not high value people because we're just surrounding ourselves with people that don't have the same views. It doesn't mean you have to divorce your family or, not be friends with someone. Maybe you don't want to spend as much time with those people because disease will infect you. I'm sorry, but that's just the case. Unless you're super strong to say, I'm going to learn how to start blocking those things away from me so I don't let their disease seep into me. So you have to also be able to understand other people. The people that I surround myself with, what is their disease? Is it fear? Is it that they come from such lack? They come from such scarcity? And being able to recognize that when someone says, oh, maybe you're just being a little too picky. No, I'm not. Oh, maybe you're just, it's really hard. I remember years ago saying to my mom, I want a second house. Like, I want 2 houses. And she was like, ooh, 2 houses? Like, that's a lot. I don't know. That's a lot to handle. I don't know if you'd be able to handle that. And I'm like, what? Why would you say that to me? So fear. That's all that was coming out of her. Her fear wasn't her helping me. Her fear was her fear, because there's plenty of other parents that would say, absolutely, They have 3 houses themselves. They know how to manage all of it, and it's not hard at all, you know? So because she came from fear and lack, she then put that onto me, thinking she was helping and loving me when in reality she wasn't. And we just had 2 totally different mindsets. Now, if I wasn't as self-aware as I was, that disease would have seeped into me and it would have made me take a step back. Today I have 3 houses. So I'm just here to tell you that be mindful of the people that you surround yourself with. Choose friendships, choose relationships that will uplift you. And if you can't, and you just have to be around people that are just not on your level, be able to discern between you, your voice, and their voice, and understand their voice really well so it doesn't seep into you. That's really the only way that this is going to work. If you're unfortunately around people that you just, can't leave, and you're trying to work on yourself, and you're trying to have a better life, and you're trying to raise that bar. It's difficult when no one else around you wants to raise the bar too, and they're just fine with not growing whatsoever. So when we're talking about standards and we talk about being able to communicate with people, I hate to break it to you, but you're going to push a lot of people against you at times. You're going to push buttons on people. You're going to trigger people because now all of a sudden your strength and who you are is not who you used to be. And people might take offense to this. And there might needs to be some enforcing of consequences, enforcing of boundaries. Remember what I said, standards and boundaries go hand in hand. You have to be able to know who you are, what you want, what you like, what do you want in your relationship? What do you want in all these areas of life? And you have to be able to consistently follow through in order to get it. And when you're not getting it, what are the boundaries that you need to put in place? And I don't just mean with other people in your life. I also mean with yourself. Are you going to hold yourself to that standard that you then expect other people to be in your life? So the boundaries that you're going to have with yourself is going to look like you recognizing when you are actually BSing yourself and holding yourself accountable and figuring out what do you need to do to help yourself to work as hard as you can. Like, what does it look like for you to be the healthiest person in the room? Who are you? How do you respond best? And every person is different. So there are times where I can respond, and this is true for, I think, anyone, but there are times where I can respond really well to tough love. And then there are other times where I don't. And it depends on the situation. It depends on how I feel that day. It depends on what it is that I'm going through. It depends on the stories that I've been telling myself. Do I need nurturing and love and support? Or do I need tough love? Do I just need someone to say, i.e. myself, stop with the freaking excuses? You literally be giving yourself excuses for like 6 months or 2 weeks or whatever. Enough. It actually looks pathetic now. Like, you have to be able to determine who you need in every single moment. And you'll know which one you need by how you feel, how you respond after that person. So if I were to judge and shame myself, okay, and nothing changes, I actually feel worse now about myself, well, then that wasn't the route that we should have went. And it's okay that you went that route because now you know that's not the route that's going to work. You need something else. Do you need validation? Do you need soothing? Do you need love and support? Do you need those kind words? And if that doesn't work, that's when you can honestly just straight up ask yourself, what is it that you need in order for you to actually do this right now? That's it. And maybe it's just more support. Maybe it's more, you can do this. All we have to do is do one thing. I do this with my son all the time. I do it with myself too, but I really, really do it with him because he's just starting this process. And school is the biggest example that I can think of because it's the one thing that I don't think any child really wants to go do every single day. And he can get very overwhelmed with, oh my God, it's the beginning of school and the day's going to be so long and it's going to be 6 hours. And we're already catastrophizing this entire day. We're making ourselves feel way worse than we need to be because we're creating a feeling in us and we're not in that experience yet. i.e. stress, i.e. anxiety, right? Like this is the same thing that we're talking about. And I always tell them, I'm like, whoa, I hear you. I get the whole like 6 hours. I get the whole long day. And I said, but the reason why you're even feeling this dread of this long day is because you're thinking about the whole day, when all you need to be thinking about right now is the fact that we're eating breakfast. So if you stay in this moment with me, that now we're just putting on our coat, and now we're just walking to the bus, and now we're just sitting on the bus. If you slow down and you start living in like shorter increments, these shorter moments, each moment that you're living in, you're going to be so incredibly present to it that you're not thinking about you're not going to feel the stress or the worry or any of those things because you're not there. You're only feeling it because you're already in a moment that isn't in existence right now. So that's why you're feeling exactly what you're feeling right now. But if you slow down and you stay here with me, then you will feel fine. And so teaching him even how to practice this when he's in school, because guess what? You can do this really well if I was with you all day, every day, and every single time your mind started to wander, I noticed it and I said, okay, let's pull it back and let's be really present right now. But I can't do that. So you have to be able to do it. So as your mind starts wandering, can you bring it back? Can you be self-aware to go, look at me, my mind's starting to wander and I'm going into a different place that I don't need to be in right now. You're probably doing it right now. You could be listening to me and doing it right now. That's kind of step one. That's the thing that's really going to help you to be present, to start living in each moment, to achieve goals, to do things differently so you can get to actually where you want to be. You know, I think the final thought with this is that you come out of these relationships and you don't need to have been through like a divorce or a breakup or whatever, but obviously that's primarily what I talk about because it was the thing that triggered this in me. It triggered this awakening in me after coming out of this relationship, after coming out of my marriage with my ex-husband. And it changed the course of my life forever because I awakened to so many ideas and learning about self-development and learning how to be mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, take care of yourself on all these levels. That's what contributes to happiness and great relationships and you having the tools to be able to take care of yourself regardless of having a relationship in your life. Yes, relationships are great, but how many people have we talked to or heard where I thought the money was going to be it. I thought the relationship was going to be it. And no, I hate to break it to you. It doesn't matter if you meet the love of your life. You're still going to feel the same insecurities, the same worries. You're still going to have problems because the problem can only be fixed with you and you starting to do this work. So I hope that kind of helped give you a little bit of an overview of standards. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video or podcast wherever you are actually watching this. If you're interested in working with me, I will link that down below as well. I'd love to get on the phone and help you and kind of dissect your own life and where you're at right now and be able to get you to where you want to be. I thrive on it so much and I absolutely love it. So I hope you guys are well. I hope you're enjoying the season of life that you're in as best as you possibly can. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys.